They tried to silence him. They erased his name. But he rebuilt from nothing. He fought every algorithm. They tried again and failed. Now he's back, stronger. From blackout to spotlight, he's at the White House, at the top of his game. Franchi lives.
You are about to enter another dimension, the dimension of truth, unfiltered and uncensored. Welcome to the Raw Feed with Gary Franchi.
Tonight on the Raw Feed.
This is the reckoning.
The Raw Feed starts now.
Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the heart of America. Unfiltered truth to millions on YouTube. Hit those donation links below. Every contribution powers our gear. Every contribution keeps the party going. Help me help you. Hit those donation links. YouTube channel memberships. Special acknowledgement in the fellowship. Your super chats keep me standing. Your Rumble rants fuel every round.
Say hello to super chats.
Spread the intel. Every repost extends our reach.
Super chats fuel this spectacle. Your Rumble rants give me strength.
24/7 members-only community, behind-the-scenes discussions.
Connect with fellow patriots.
My mama always said, life is like sharing the truth. Text this stream to your friends.
What if I told you the app is real? Download the Next News Network app. Android users, take the Google Play path. iPhone users, App Store awaits.
Six Democrats just filmed themselves calling for a military insurrection. Today, the House voted to release every Epstein file. And somewhere in between those two explosions, Illinois residents will wake up tomorrow to find their driver's licenses turned into digital tracking devices. Well, Trump announced Saudi Arabia is pouring $1 trillion into American manufacturing. Welcome to November 18th, 2025. The day the mask didn't just slip, they got ripped clean off. I'm Gary Franchi, and this is the Raw Feed, where we give you the unfiltered truth the mainstream media won't touch. And speaking of truth versus deception, let me take you back to another November 18th. This one, 1978. Jim Jones convinced 918 Americans to drink poisoned Kool-Aid in Jonestown, the largest mass event in modern history. But why? Because he built a cult so powerful that when the walls started closing in, his followers chose death over truth. Today, we're watching another kind of cult, the cult of the establishment, and they're mixing their own poison. Only this time, they want you to drink it digitally, through your phone, through your military, through your hamburger. The difference? We're not drinking. The Epstein files vote that just passed. They told us those names would stay buried forever. The establishment swore those black books were a conspiracy theory. Now we've got Democrats literally caught texting Epstein during congressional hearings. Yeah, the emails are all out. The hearings are explosive. Stacey Plaskett's phone lit up with messages as she sat in our Capitol making laws. And when caught, they called it constitutional services, constituent services. Yes, the people think we're stupid. But they made a massive mistake with that military video. 6 sitting members of Congress, including Senators Slotkin and Kelly, didn't just suggest resistance. They produced, filmed, and distributed a direct appeal to our armed forces to defy their commander-in-chief. Stephen Miller called it exactly what it is, insurrection. Sidney Powell screams sedition. And they're both right. Because when you tell soldiers to choose politics over orders, you're not protesting, you're plotting a coup. Meanwhile, the Vatican's internal war is spilling into American politics. Pope Leo's defense of national sovereignty shocked the globalist wing of the church, the same faction that's been working with NGOs to facilitate mass migration, while Archbishop Vigano warns about Agenda 2030 infiltration. Tom Homan's response cut deep. The church locks its own doors tighter than our border. The religious establishment that lectures America about walls surrounds itself with them. Which brings us to Illinois, where your driver's license will soon become your digital leash. Starting tomorrow, they're putting your ID on your iPhone. Sure, they promise it's secure, and private, and convenient. They also promised the Patriot Act was temporary. Now they're building a system where your identity, your money, your movement all flow through one device that they control. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. In Trump, while they're filming coup videos, he's at McDonald's, calling himself the first fry cook president, announcing Saudi Arabia is dumping $1 trillion in American manufacturing. See, he's not playing defense anymore. He's building a parallel economy while exposing theirs. You see, today is not random. It's synchronized. The Epstein reveal, the military video, the digital ID rollout, the immigration battle lines, they are all connected. The establishment's panicking because their time's up. The question isn't whether the system's collapsing, it's whether you're ready for what comes next. So think about it. In one day, we've got Congress voting to expose the blackmail network, Democrats filming insurrection videos, Illinois launching the surveillance state, and Trump turning McDonald's and Saudi money into economic revolution. This is not just news, it's a coordinated collapse of their entire control structure. So tonight we'll dig into each bombshell. We'll talk about the vote that has the Washington elite checking flight schedules and non-extradition countries. Because when those Epstein files drop, a lot of powerful people are about to discover that their insurance policy just expired. Now let's welcome you to the show. Mrs. Pothead County, Roger Thacker, Debbie Gradowski is here. What's up, Debbie? Sure you in the house. Roger Thacker, Scooby, Dragon, Sam, Nang, everybody filing in. It's just me, V. Hot Rod Mike. Dance like nobody's watching. Patricia, Pothead Kenny, Sure You, Tamra, Thomas Duff, AJ Cruz, Bathsheba, Karen Myron, Tamra Jennings, Paulies, Donna Joe, Bud, Archangel, Fran, Giant, Gollum, Truthy, Ruthie, Thomas Duff, Polly's Coffee Corner for Ranger Xbox, Lythene Morm, Tyson, Maga General, Custom for Life. What's up, Wales? Irma, Kentucky Trailer Man in the house. Everybody is all filing in. Now, I know you guys, I made you guys wait longer than I should have. I apologize. So let's just jump right into the news. It's a big day today. Big day. They said it would never happen. They swore the names would stay buried forever, but just hours ago, the United States House of Representatives did what the establishment feared most. They voted to release everything, the flight logs, the client lists, the sealed testimonies. And the panic in Washington right now, you can smell it from here. Now, this isn't just about a vote. It's about a global blackmail operation that has controlled politicians, CEOs, and celebrities for decades. And when those files drop, we're not talking about embarrassment. We're talking about criminal exposure. The same people who lectured you about morality, who made your laws, who preached from their platforms, they're about to be exposed as clients of a child trafficking network. Democrats are already melting down because they know what's coming. Stacey Plaskett, yes, was exposed communicating with Epstein. It happened during the congressional hearing. Think about that. A sitting member of Congress exchanging messages from a convicted predator while making laws that affect your children. And she's not alone. The vote, 218 to 206. Every single person who voted no, they're protecting someone or themselves. Now, as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Now, look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It is physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below, or you can call that number 877-646-5347 and find out how you can get those 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. You've got to act quickly, though, because the holidays are going to get here before you know it. But here's where it gets worse. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother, now claiming Republicans are scrubbing the files at a facility in Winchester, Virginia. Both sides are terrified. Speaker Mike Johnson went from supporting release to suddenly calling it incredibly dangerous for intelligence agencies. You know what's actually dangerous? Intelligence agencies using child trafficking blackmail to control our government. Even CNN's Van Jones accidentally admitted the truth while trying to attack Trump. And get this, victim groups that promised to release their own lists, well, they've gone completely silent. Why? Because the names on those lists are still people in power. Now, President Trump, before we get to all the juicy stuff, this is a moment on Air Force One. President Trump called a female reporter Piggy.
I can't tell you, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that are now including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead.
incriminating in the file, sir?
So Air Force One, after she asked a question about Jeffrey Epstein.
Why not? Why
Quiet,
is it
quiet,
On Venezuela,
Wow.
sir, we've had a lot of meetings on Venezuela. I know you can't tell us what your next steps will be.
Wow.
But can you say, have you made up your mind on what you'd like to do as far as action for
I sort of
Venezuela?
have made up my mind, yeah.
I did not know that they let Rosie O'Donnell on Air Force One, man. That's wild. Yeah, I've never seen him react quite like that. I mean, I've seen him react to reporters before, but that was pretty pointed. Now, here's the moment. We got a lot of them. House Oversight Chair James Comer exposing Hakeem Jeffries on the House floor for soliciting a meeting and donations from Jeffrey Epstein, even after Epstein was a convicted predator. Nick Sortor writes, the Epstein thing is going to backfire massively on the Democrats. Listen to this.
To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get just colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we reserve. The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrats
coordinating with Epstein. Oh, yeah. No wonder Hakeem gets bent out of shape when asked basic questions about his own party's ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job.
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability. Thanks.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files?
Oh, Hakeem. My friends, this is only the tip of the iceberg. 6 hours ago, rapid response. Add Brooklyn's Barack, dollar store Obama, would have been better, to the list of Democrat sickos who aren't being honest about their connections to Epstein even after he was already a convicted sex offender. Cat got your tongue now, Jeffries? Here's the actual email. Let's see if we can zoom in for you. Oh. Lisa Rossi, Dear Jeffrey, we're thrilled to announce that we're working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. One of the rising stars of the New York congressional delegation, sometimes referred to as Brooklyn's Barack. He's a staunch supporter of Obama. Oh, wow. The rising star. There it is. Dear Jeffrey. So, yeah, soliciting Jeffrey Epstein. Right there in black and white. Jamie Raskin. Rapid Response writes, one of the worst to ever disgrace the halls of Congress. Says Stacey Plaskett was just taking a phone call from her constituent when she colluded with a convicted sex offender during a committee hearing. Oh, Jamie Raskin, just trying to downplay it. Oh, yes. Maybe they should have just kept those files sealed, huh?
Phone calls. Well, they want to give them another headline, which is that they've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing. Well, they want to give...
All right, here's a test for you guys. The next time there's a committee hearing and your congressman is there, right on the dais, why don't you try to call them? Do you have their private cell phone number? Do you have that number? Can you text them anytime you want? Doesn't work that way, right? Oh, just taking a call from a constituent. No, he wasn't just any constituent. Ah, it's called coordination. Here is Tim Burchett on the Plaskett Epstein scandal. Quote, we don't have a lot of guts up here. When asked Tim Burchett if he supports censuring Plaskett over reports she was texting with Epstein during a congressional hearing, response was blunt.
Do you support
Who are you with?
Alison Steiner with Lindell TV?
Okay, I've seen you.
Good to see you.
TV.
Do you support censuring Rep Plaskett after finding out that she was texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing?
Absolutely. Epstein's a dirt bag, and the money they took from her, and you've got a member now who's violated the client privilege with one of them in prison, and then they interfered between the emails and things like that. Sure, absolutely. But will we? Probably not. We don't have a lot of guts up here. I'm kind of sick of it myself. This isn't like Tennessee where people just they call you out and take you out behind the woodshed, and that's what these folks need up here.
Do you support...
That's what these folks need up here. Allison Steinberg doing the work on Capitol Hill. Here is Tim Burchett, likely moments before that. Oh, this is 5 hours ago. Yeah, you can see him. He's walking up to the gaggle.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett, just leaving the House floor with a big vote on Epstein. Look at the press down there. Big gaggle. Hey, dude. On the Epstein vote, it passed. Only one person voted against it. The other was the dealing with Representative Plaskett, who apparently took a pretty large contribution from Epstein, and they found these text messages of him texting her questions to ask of a witness who was where they're trying to. It was a very contentious hearing against President Trump. Also, you have to remember that it was Trump's Justice Department that indicted Epstein, and it was Trump's Justice Department that indicted Maxwell. So we're finally, it'll go to the Senate, and we'll see what happens. But it's a lot going on. A lot going on with Plaskett and her shenanigans with Epstein, and we brought a bill up to condemn her and censure her. Of course, the Democrats voted against that, but
of course they would. Now, did you catch what he said? Of course, it goes from the House to the Senate. You think it's going to stall there? You think it's going to see the light of day? Oh, but who could forget this moment just 24 hours before the vote? Eric Fartswell had this to say. Checkmate, Mr. President.
Checkmate. Hey, Congressman.
What's going on?
What the fuck is up with Trump calling on House Republicans to release the Epstein files?
Very, very rich, Mr. President. But let me tell you what. Checkmate. I know you're more of a checkers guy than chess, but checkmate because you don't need Congress to release the Epstein files. We were doing this because you wouldn't release them. You actually have complete discretion to release all of the files. So why don't you do your job? Otherwise, we're just going to assume the worst. And the worst is that you don't want all of us to see how directly connected you are to the most notorious child sex trafficker ever. Checkmate.
Oh, Eric Swalwell thinks he can checkmate President Trump. What a joke. What an absolute joke that guy is. But of course, perhaps President Trump could have issued an executive order. I mean, they did try to send it down back to the court, have files unsealed. Court rejected that. But I think he's got bigger fish to fry at the moment. I decided to reply to Eric Swalwell. This is the same guy who bangs Chinese spies, farts on Rachel Maddow, and defrauds banks? Oh, I got some replies. Oh, let's see here. Swalwell, bang, bang. Communist, bang, bang. Yup. Oh, just say, quiet, piggy. Sure, you filing in there. Yup. Oh, but the comments, even George Santos. Oh, let me spell it out for those who don't know. This idiot banged a Chinese spy for years. Let's also remember that the FBI warned then Speaker Pelosi he shouldn't have access to classified information, so it's rich. You'd want to say something. You're mad because Trump called your effing bluff. Oh, why didn't your guy release the file? Why didn't your guy release the files when he was in the White House? Right? Exactly. Exactly. Here's the moment the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed the U.S. House of Representatives.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There it is. And the cheers. Only one person voted no. Now, at the beginning of the video, I did give you the wrong vote totals. I apologize. So here we are. 43 days into the shutdown, not one word about the Epstein files. The day the government was reopening, they switched immediately. Every left-leaning outlet was talking about running Epstein stuff. Is that a coincidence?
From their policies. Clinton, that was on his plane 26 times. You have the delegate from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Plaskett.
We'll come to her in a second.
Yeah, who's saying that, who's literally texting him and took a $30,000 donation for the DCCC on it. So I think this is all just a distraction that they're trying to get away from their policies and their ridiculous agenda that they have. I mean, think about this. We were 43 days in a shutdown. Not one word about the Epstein files. The day the government was reopening, they switched immediately. Every left-leaning...
of course they did. They had to control and shift the narrative, which is really odd because if you think about it, weren't they all they were doing was screaming about we need to extend the deadline for Obamacare subsidies so that all the illegals can continue to get health care. First order of business is to release the Epstein files? I thought that, the healthcare issue was the pressing matter. Strange, isn't it? This is 7 hours ago. Wall Street Apes Post Speaker Mike Johnson says declassifying the Epstein files is incredibly dangerous. He says it hurts our intelligence agencies and working with them.
In other, all right. Number 5, national security concerns. Okay, the discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies. All right?
Well, release them. Let's find out why those intelligence agencies were using children. Y'all ever seen anything more true? Trump is in the Epstein files. What's in the Epstein files? It says Epstein hates Trump. But Trump is mentioned. Gotta love the cartoons. 10 hours ago, MJ Truth Ultra, it sounds like MTG will be reading the names of who did naughty things on Epstein Island with children on the House floor in the near future. Oh boy. Haley Robinson, Epstein survivor, says she questioned Trump's motives for holding back at first. Now she only wants now to say he wants it released. It's chess, honey, not checkers. Carly Bone. So now the victims who said they were going to compile their own list, not putting out their own list. Now that's really strange.
And why hasn't a list been put? If you know that there are other people other than Epstein, other than Prince or former Prince, whatever his name is, why haven't they come out? And why hasn't a list been put together already?
It's so hard to answer that question because a list has been put together for years. Our attorneys, survivors, we've named names for years. And when I said we'll release a list, it was just speaking to more survivors to get more names on the list. The same names keep coming up. The same names that we've given with our attorneys to the DOJ and the FBI is the same names they've always had. So we do want to help, but they already have had all the information they've needed to release for years now. And so to answer your question, I don't know why it's taken so long. I mean, isn't that the $1 million question?
Why are you guys afraid to put out the names?
Death threats. A lot of us are mothers. You know, we want the names to be out there. We want justice. But why do we have to do it? That's a very scary thing, and I think you know that. You know, it's just we want to help to put the names out there, but it's not our responsibility to do so. And I think you know why. I mean, so many people, so many of the survivors.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, they have the authority to do so. They just voted to do it. Why would the survivors need to put themselves out there anymore? I get it. But of course, we have Jasmine Crockett making a fool of herself.
They care about affordability. They care about the fact that literally people are starving in this country because we have 42 million people, and I don't remember any one of you during that almost 2-month break.
I don't think that's related, my bad. So you're saying that the enablers of Epstein, nom de plume. So you're saying the enablers of Epstein are allowed to remain in Congress even after they're known to have been quite close to Epstein? Well, after they knew exactly who he was? How is Stacey Plaskett allowed to remain in Congress? Who is she? What's she up to?
In the hell out of Congress. Hey there, Libs. While you guys are waiting for the House to vote on releasing the Epstein files, you guys realize that the House Oversight Committee already dumped about 65,000 documents from the Epstein estate, a bunch of emails, which showed that you actually already have a number of people that you could be going after and getting them the hell out of Congress. You know that, right? And potentially arresting them for their roles with Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm not talking like pre-2007, 2008 South Florida federal case against Jeffrey Epstein, where Alex Acosta, the U.S. attorney, basically gave him a sweetheart deal. We're talking post that case, where we had a whole slew of Democrats that are still in Congress today, like Stacey Plaskett and like Hakeem Jeffries, that were going to Jeffrey Epstein to get money. And this lady right here, you understand, as a non-voting member of Congress from the U.S. Virgin Islands, do you know how close she was, Jeffrey Epstein? She was incredibly close. He donated $30,000 to her campaign. She tried to get him to donate $30,000 to the DNC in 2014, and the DNC did not allow, they wouldn't take his donation because he didn't pass their vetting, because he was a convicted child pedo thing. But she continued to take his money. Did you know while she was the attorney for the Economic Development Council in the U.S. Virgin Islands, before she actually ran for Congress, her Economic Development Council down there in the U.S. Virgin Islands approved over $300 million in tax breaks for Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, this is the same lady that in 2018, yeah, she was actually actively texting Jeffrey Epstein himself, while she was sitting there in a hearing. You know that you could be trying to get her ass out of Congress right now if you actually gave a damn about any of this. But you don't. Did you know that she was a named defendant in a lawsuit from Jeffrey Epstein's victims? Wow. She was. Yeah. She was introduced to Epstein many, many years ago by Cecile DeJong, who was the former first lady of the governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands. And Cecile and her were responsible for assisting Jeffrey Epstein in securing the U.S. Virgin Islands as a safe harbor for Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. You guys know that, right?
Wow.
Why is she still in Congress? Why don't you care about her? Because she was a good friend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah. She needs to be removed. She was an accomplice. That's what this sounds like. Representative Roy said today on the floor It was, in fact, President Trump's administration in 2019 that federally indicted Epstein. In July of 2019, it was the Trump administration that was going after Ghislaine Maxwell and set the stage for her indictment. And 10 hours ago, Thomas Massey on camera about Democrats' Epstein ties. His response says a lot.
Is texting with the Congressman. Will Republicans? Hi, Congressman.
Hi.
Will Republicans
Sorry.
move to censure Rep. Plaskett after finding out she was texting with a convicted child sex offender?
I don't know. That's sort of, to me, that's just a distraction at this point.
What about Bill and Hillary Clinton? They're now refusing to show up before the House oversight regarding their depositions with Jeffrey Epstein. What's going to happen with them? Is there going to be a criminal referral?
That's up to the Oversight Committee and the Speaker of the House. I mean, everybody in this country has the right to plead the Fifth Amendment. If that's what they're doing, that's fine. But if they're refusing to show up at all, that's not legal.
Bannon and Navarro were in prison for doing the same thing. Should they be as well?
That's outside of my purview. The Oversight Committee has been doing their own investigation, and we have introduced legislation because they have yet to produce a single name or any justice for these survivors. Thank you.
Allison on fire with the questions. You go, girl. Wow. So let's keep going. We got more juice. Here's CNN's Van Jones. Accidentally says the quiet part out loud about Epstein while hurling insult to Trump and MAGA, hanging out in the safe space over on CNN with Anderson Pooper.
Colt is willing. He could just call the Justice Department right now.
He could do it right now. He could just do it right now. Look, I mean, it turns out that, there is a limit to how far this kind of Trump cult is willing to go. And once you are talking about a massive conspiracy to protect pedophiles, even the Trump coalition cannot hold together. And I think he's actually probably shocked. He did all his usual tricks. He threw out the word hoax. He attacked this person, he attacked that person. He gave a nickname to Marguerite Taylor Greene. None of his tricks worked. And I think he's probably sitting there shocked that yes, there is gravity. Yes, there is a sun in the sky. And no, Republicans are not going to support you protecting a pedophile ring.
A pedophile ring, huh? You and your Democrat buddies? Is that how it is? Moving right along here. Gloria Allred, in my years involved in this case, in many discussions with survivors of Epstein, not once has anyone said to me, is this the person who abused me? A Democrat or Republican, they just want justice. President Trump said House Republicans should vote to release the files so we have nothing to hide. That was 48 hours ago, and now the vote has come through. Over on CNN, Aaron Burnett. But the president did say over the weekend that only a very bad super Republican would fall in the trap of voting for the release of the files. Mace, Trump has come around, and Biden never came around.
Never gave these women a chance. And
Facts
that's a
are the
good
facts
thing.
that he did not want
Biden
these
wouldn't
files to
do
come out.
anything. But Trump has come around, and Biden never came around. Biden never gave these women a chance, and that's the story you all aren't telling. When I went through my
They had an
time 2 years
investigation
ago,
into Ghislaine Maxwell, which resulted in her being put in prison, and then she was moved to a minimum security.
Nice try, Aaron. Nice try. Ro Khanna. There should be no buildings named after people in this Epstein class.
Politicians and abuse and rape America's girls with no consequence. Because survivors spoke up, because of their courage, the truth is finally going to come out. And when it comes out, this country is really going to have a moral reckoning.
Oh, yes, it will, my friends. The moral reckoning is only just beginning. Scott Jennings shattering the narrative that President Trump is calling the entire Epstein scandal a hoax.
None of whom, why can't he see this for what it is, which is a very real thing, not a hoax, with real victims, and with a lot of people potentially involved in something, none of whom have been held accountable.
Well, the hoax is Democrats and others who have gone on television and either implied or worse that he had something to do with it. There's not a shred of evidence that he had anything to do with it, but that's what they want people to believe. That's the narrative that they are trying to get out there.
And that's the hoax, my friends.
That's the hoax. He's never said what happened to them is a hoax. In fact, there seems to be some shards of evidence in here that Trump may have been one of the people that turned in Jeffrey Epstein, which is why Epstein, according to some of the documents, apparently hated Donald Trump. And so the hoax is not that it happened. The hoax is what people are trying to imply.
So the most damning revelation, Democrats knew this was coming. They tried to get ahead of it. Ro Khanna is desperately demanding buildings be stripped of Epstein-connected names. Anna Navarro on ABC falsely claiming Trump is all over the files without a shred of evidence. They're not acting like innocent people. They're acting like co-conspirators watching the walls close in, because they are. So today's vote changes everything. For years, they called us conspiracy theorists for saying Epstein's black book controlled Washington. Now we have members of Congress on record defending their communications with a child trafficker. We have the brother of the predator claiming the files are being sanitized. We have victim groups going dark. This isn't about Democrat versus Republican anymore. This is about the people versus the predators. The fact that only Trump's DOJ was the only administration to indict both Epstein and Maxwell, that tells you everything. Biden had 4 years. Obama had 8. They did nothing. Today, representatives in the House said enough. So here's the question. Will the truth actually come out, or will the Senate and the deep state bury it again? Are you ready to find out which of your heroes are actually monsters? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. While they scramble to hide their sins, support real journalism at our merch shop. You'll find it linked down below. Okay, we have some super chats here. Debbie received a gift. What's up, Debbie? Welcome to the family. And she received that from Tamara Jennings. Thank you, Tamara, for giving that gift. And then Tamara dropped $5 afterwards. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And for Ranger Xbox wants to make a clarification, and he spent $2 to do so. What was that clarification? It's pronounced F&A Ranger Army thing. F&A Ranger. Amry thing. Army thing? Amry thing? Amry. Army. F&A Ranger. Okay, got it. How about I just call you Ranger? I've been calling you for Ranger forever. All right, we got more news to get at. The night is young, sort of. Getting started later than usual. I had to see my cardiologist today, which kind of put me back, but hey, I'm good. Don't worry, I'm healthy. Now, let's see. Trying to find out where to begin with this. Is Pope Francis, Border Czar, okay. The Catholic Church has split wide open, and the fault lines run straight through America's border. Pope Leo shocking the world by defending national sovereignty, while his own bishops attack our immigration enforcement. But when Tom Homan fired back at the Vatican's hypocrisy, he exposed something much bigger than a policy dispute. This is a spiritual battle for the soul of the West. Now, Pope Leo's declaration that America has every right to control who enters our country stands in stark contrast to the U.S. Catholic bishops' position condemning Trump's deportation plans as anti-Christian. Meanwhile, Archbishop Vigano, the whistleblower they've been trying to silence, warns that Western governments have been infiltrated by Agenda 2030 operatives. It's not about immigration anymore. This is about whether religious institutions will side with national sovereignty or global governance. The Catholic Church commands 1.4 billion followers worldwide. In America, the Catholic vote helped put Trump back in office. And now that coalition is fracturing because the establishment wing of the church has been working with NGOs to facilitate mass migration while preaching compassion. And the stakes? The entire moral authority being weaponized in this battle. And while political and religious institutions battle for control, there is another force that's quietly reshaping America's future, and it's happening underground. The Trump administration released a document under Executive Order 14241. It could transform the mining sector. They've named Alaska's Palmer Project as critical for national security, containing billions of dollars in copper, zinc, and silver that our military desperately needs. Vizsla Copper acquired that project, positioning themselves at the center of America's mineral independence push. Led by the same team that built Vizsla Silver into a $1 billion valuation, they're trading it as VCUFF in the United States. When similar Alaskan miners got government backing, shares jumped over 200%. The Palmer designation happened, and the market just hasn't caught up yet. You can learn more about Vizsla Copper at the link in today's description. Now, Tom Homan's response to the bishops was a kill shot. He said if they're so concerned about security and walls, why does the Vatican have the highest walls in Rome? Why do bishops lock their facilities tighter than our border? The penalty for illegally entering Vatican City is actually harsher than entering America, but here's the bombshell. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy exposed CDL mills issuing 194,000 illegal commercial driver's licenses to foreign nationals. Think about what's on your roads right now. 194,000 illegal commercial driver's licenses to foreign nationals. These are not random migrants. They're being handed 18-wheelers while the church preaches about dignity and compassion. Now, back in May, Washington Examiner reported that the new American Pope, Pope Leo XIV, echoing his predecessor, Pope Francis, and largely opposing the Trump administration's stance on immigration.
Pope Leo XIV is echoing his predecessor, Pope Francis, in opposing the Trump administration's stance on immigration.
Aiutateci anche voi. You too help us, then each other, to build bridges with dialogue, with the encounter, uniting to be one people, always in peace, thanks to Pope Francis.
Pope Leo shared an article recounting Pope Francis's criticism of the Trump administration's immigration policy and Vice President J.D. Vance's defense of it. Leo mirrored Francis' thoughts on DACA while also appearing to signal support for gun control. Leo has shown conservative thought on
gun control, supporting the previous pope's positions. October 9th, Virgin Media News. We have this. Pope Leo met Texas Bishop Mark Seitz, brought letters from immigrant families fearing deportation. The bishop also showed a video on migrants' plight as Catholic leaders continue to criticize the U.S. immigration crackdown.
It is, well, the situation is that they are, to say they're fearful is not strong enough. They're terrorized. And it is what shall I say? It is a fear that has a long-term impact on people, on their lives.
Doesn't the Bible say something about following the law somewhere? I'm sure it does. I mean, they're being terrorized, are they? Well, maybe they should have thought twice about coming to this country illegally. Pope Leo IX said immigrants must be treated with dignity. He encouraged all people in the United States to heed the bishop's message on immigration. Leo's brother, the Pope, thinks the Trump administration's position on immigration is a total injustice.
Sees the United States is headed in the wrong direction in terms of immigration. That this is a total injustice. I don't know how he would handle that. It's a very difficult situation because you're going to offend someone one way or the other, no matter what.
How about just follow the law? Stephen Miller, the architect of Trump's policies, once recommended the Pope should read his favorite book. Nicholas, this is a much more balanced and conservative take on immigration than I remember hearing from Pope Francis. In Italy, the Pope on illegal immigration said,
U.S. bishops have made a very strong statement about the deportation and detention of migrants. What do you think of it? And they kind of said that you've got their back. Were you behind that?
Well, I've made some statements about that already. I appreciate very much what the bishops have said.
I think it's a very important statement. I would invite especially all Catholics, but people of goodwill, to listen carefully to what they said. I think we have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives, and many of them for 10, 15, 20 years, to treat them in a way that is extremely disrespectful, to say the least, and there's been some violence, unfortunately, I think that the bishops have been very clear in what they said, and I think that I would just invite all people in the United States to listen to them. Thank you.
Listen to the popes, huh? Listen to the bishops. Well, what is Tom Homan saying?
Out a special week, the Catholic bishops sent out a special message. They said they get that countries can secure their borders, but they don't like these mass deportations. What's your message?
So according to them, the message we should send to the whole world is that if you cross the border illegally, which is a crime, don't worry about it. If you get ordered removed by a federal judge after due process, don't worry about it, because there shouldn't be mass deportations. Is that the message we send to the whole world? People are still going to put themselves in harm's way to come to the greatest nation on earth. They're going to spend their life savings to give to a criminal cartel. And we saw during the Biden administration, when there was no immigration enforcement, over 4,000 aliens died making that journey, historic record. 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl, historic record. Secure borders saves lives. I wish the Catholic Church would understand that. We have the right to secure our borders, like they have the right to secure their facility. You can't enter their facility without getting arrested. As a matter of fact, the penalties entering their facilities are much worse than ours. So, we're going to force the law, and by doing that, we're saving a lot of lives. Secure border saves lives. And one of the reasons no one talks about why we have the most secure border in the history of this nation is because exactly what ISIS did. ISIS sent a message to the whole world: don't leave your life savings to come to the country, because you're not going to be released. You're not going to cross the border illegally, you're going to be prosecuted. So Catholic Church and all, I'm sorry, I'm a lifelong Catholic. I'm saying it as not only at Borders, I'll say it as a Catholic. I think they need to spend time fixing the Catholic Church, in my opinion.
On H1B,
Spend time fixing the Catholic Church. Oh, yes, the Catholic Church does have its own problems. Like this, Archbishop Vigano going nuclear.
Has managed to infiltrate a dangerous subversive elite, has managed to infiltrate the highest levels of Western institutions and governments to implement the criminal plan of the Agenda 2030. In many self-proclaimed democratic states, the voices denouncing this global coup are being silenced through censorship, intimidation, psychiatrization, and even arrest. Among the victims of the totalitarian regime quietly establishing itself in Europe, Canada, Australia, and other vassal nations of the United Nations, NATO, World Health Organization, and World Economic Forum, all private entity funded by the same powers, is lawyer Rainer Fulmich, unjustly imprisoned and still awaiting for a fair trial. His crime is having dared to speak the truth in a world of criminal lies. I call on Catholics and all people of goodwill to raise their voices in defense of those persecuted by the globalist regime. It is not Attorney Fulmich who should be imprisoned, but those who committed the greatest crime ever against humanity: Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, Ursula von der Leyen, Albert Bourla, and all their accomplices and emissaries, especially those in institutional positions. Free Rainer Fulmich.
The infiltration of Agenda 2030. Let's take a listen here. excommunicating Vigano.
As all Catholics, is Pope Francis about to excommunicate another good bishop? So the Vatican is putting Cardinal Vigano on trial and charging him with schism. Now, some might celebrate this, but I'm disappointed. I love Vigano. I love his stances on abortion, genital mutilation, and any of his other stances that are in alignment with Catholic teaching, as all Catholics should have. I have Protestant friends who have the same stances, which is good. Now, if you love someone, you have to be honest with them. As Catholics, we are called to submit to all ecumenical councils. That includes Vatican II. That might be unpopular, but that is what's traditional. Now, the Vatican is accusing Vigano of public statements that have to do with denial of the legitimacy of Pope Francis, breaking of communion with him, and rejection of the Second Vatican Council. Now, yes, by definition, these things are considered schism, but we
Yeah, Vigano is not on the top of the list over there at the Vatican. That's for sure. Now we have, let's see, some more on the ICE operations with respect to the border. 11 hours ago, in a jaw-dropping national security bombshell, the Trump State Department under Secretary Marco Rubio revoked the visas of a staggering 80,000 foreign nationals since January.
12,000 visas. And Brett, this just breaking right now, the Secretary of State and the State Department are announcing that they have revoked 80,000 visas, American visas, in the year 2025. So far, we get a partial breakdown of those. I will read a couple to you. 16,000 visas revoked for DUI. 12,000 visas revoked for assault and 8,000 for theft. We also know about 8,000 student visas for foreign students studying here in the United States have been revoked. We're going to get you the full breakdown on those numbers, but there you have it.
Visas getting revoked. Bishops pushing back. Border Czar Tom Homan confirming massive ICE operations are going to hit New York.
Mayor Adams at one, but New York City, I plan on being in New York City in the near future. We're going to do operations in New York City. We know in New York City, me and Mayor Adams at one point had an agreement to let ICE into Rikers Island so we can arrest the public safety threats and the safety and security of that facility, but the city council shut it down. So we're going to be coming to New York City. We're already there now. I mean, teams are there now. But we will increase the enforcement presence in New York City, again, because they're a sanctuary city, and we know we have an issue there with public safety threats hitting the street every day.
With that, New York's on the list. Secretary Duffy, this is crazy. 200,000 non-domiciled CDLs issued to foreigners, issued illegally.
DHS Secretary, this ICE situation, ICE arresting a man from Uzbekistan earlier this month while he was driving a commercial truck in Kansas. DHS says this 31-year-old Akwar Bozorov was led into the country by Joe Biden's administration. He was wanted in Uzbekistan in 2022 for alleged ties to terrorism. He was granted work authorization in the United States in early 2024. His commercial driver's license was issued in Pennsylvania, and the photo that DHS released even shows him having a real ID, Secretary. You've gone after California for issuing 17,000 commercial driver's licenses to illegals. Is it time to federalize CDL certifications? What are you doing here? And I mean, it's just astounding to me that someone who was tied to terrorism in Uzbekistan actually got a license to drive a commercial vehicle in Kansas.
Yeah, so first off, it goes to show you that Joe Biden and his administration didn't do any background checks on who was coming into the country. They offered them asylum and they offered them work authorizations and then allowed them to go out and get commercial driver's licenses and operate on American roads, endangering American citizens. And so we have had new rules that have come out to say, you know what, we're going to tighten this up. If you come legally, you have a visa or you're coming from one state to another, you can get what's called a non-domiciled CDL. These are the licenses that these foreigners are using. But to tighten up the rules means we're going to have more safety on American roads. But you mentioned 17,000 from California. We think other states have also issued many illegally commercial driver's licenses. There were 200,000 non-domiciled CDLs issued to foreigners.
Wow.
We think 194,000 of them were issued illegally.
Oh my goodness.
And would not comply with our new rule. And so again, you've aired these crashes, Maria.
Yeah.
They're horrific. When people can't understand the English language, they can't read signs, and they don't know the rules of our road.
Terrible.
That's a problem. Americans aren't safe. And we also see that there's CDL mills, commercial driver's license mills, where people aren't being properly trained. They're being pushed through getting licenses, and then again driving across the country. If I can make one last point, Maria, it's driving American truckers out of business.
Good point.
And American trucking companies driving the wages down. That's not why we're taking this action, but that's a real consequence of having all these foreigners come in.
That's a great
What we're going to do is see those wages rise, and it's still a good paying job in America to be an American truck driver.
Secretary, let me.
Yeah, and then you've got those tragedies from the illegals, right? Tom Homan, we're enforcing the law. What other federal agency does that?
No, she needs to understand we're enforcing the law. I mean, what other federal agency does she think should not enforce the laws? We're taking public safety threats out of her community every day, which makes her community safer. You think she'd be hand in hand with us and thanking President Trump for focusing on the worst of the worst, prioritizing those public safety threats, those child rapists and murderers and others. So we're going to keep doing it.
We're going to keep on doing it. Check this out. The mayor of Broadview, Illinois, has declared a civil emergency after alleged out-of-state protesters threatened to become hyper-violent.
Tobin is. There were more protests today outside a federal immigration facility in suburban Chicago that has become the epicenter of the anti-ICE movement. In Illinois and elsewhere, the demonstrations are becoming more confrontational. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is in Broadview, Illinois tonight.
Another Friday, protesters mass in Broadview, Illinois, and shout at the local police who don't execute immigration enforcement. They arrive equipped with painter's masks, even a wooden shield anticipating a conflict. At a Coast Guard base near Oakland, California, as protesters rallied, thinking Border Patrol may base there, a U-Haul truck drove in reverse rapidly towards a guard gate. Warnings were ignored and the guards opened fire. 2 injured. Survivors of loved ones killed by illegal immigrants say the protesters don't get it.
You're inconvenient truths to their reality.
Operation Midway Blitz was named in honor of Katie Abraham, killed in downstate Illinois by a Guatemalan man in the U.S. illegally, driving drunk, and with false documentation.
This is a person who shouldn't have been here. If we had a rational, coherent policy or some process, he wouldn't have been here, and then Katie would be here.
21-year-old Jimmy Walden, a U.S. Marine, was killed in 2017 when a Mexican citizen in the U.S. illegally hit his motorcycle head-on.
My son's death was 100% preventable.
Terrorists! Cell phone video of Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino throwing tear gas in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood has critics claiming agents are defying a court order to warn protesters.
And that was settled, by the way. So, the real explosion. You heard it. Mayor Thompson, Broadview, Illinois, declaring a civil emergency. Credible bomb threats against ICE agents. Death threats against cartel-aligned activists mobilizing. Why? Because Tom Homan announced massive operations in the sanctuary cities. New York? Oh, yeah. It's going to happen. Even more than it is now. The criminal networks protecting illegal immigration are going to know. They're going to go to war because they know that their protection racket is ending. So the Vatican civil war is public. America's border is the battlefield. Pope Leo defending his own sovereignty while his own bishops undermine it, exposing the collapse of institutional unity. The same church that surrounds itself with walls and guards lectures America about compassion while facilitating an invasion. Tom Homan called their bluff. Now we have bomb threats against ICE agents and 194,000 illegals driving commercial trucks on our highways. It's not about faith, it's about power. The globalist wing of the church partnered with NGOs to flood America with dependents. The nationalist wing is speaking up, but actions matter more than words. So do you believe religious institutions should enforce America's laws or undermine them? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. And remember, truth needs support. You can check out our merch shop to keep independent media alive. All right. Looks like we have a super chat that just came in from RC. Canadian $5. I haven't had any pounds sterling lately. What happened to our friends over there across the pond? Oh, yes. Is Trump still alive? I don't think so. That's Martin Sheen wearing a silicone mask. Lindsay Halligan often plays Melania wearing big sunglasses. Well, that's a stretch. But we appreciate your input. Our boy dropping $10. Ice Ice Baby, get him out. Right? Me with a fish. There's a fish in there. A fish gif. How did you do that? That's funny. That's funny. All right, where are we at with the super chat coming in here? $20.76. Gonna hit $100 tonight. That's the goal. But we're gonna go on to our third topic of the evening. It's all going down. The test bed is unwrapping as we speak. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Oh, come on. Todd. Man. I don't know, man. We had all day. We had phone conversations. I don't know. Something get lost in translation? What the hell, man? I mean, am I missing something here? Todd, I told you, go back to our previous folder where we were discussing the digital ID. And I said, give me some more context for this topic. So I'm doing it live because, for whatever reason, whatever I said on the phone call was not paid attention to. Oh my God, dude. I'm doing this live, dude. Don't worry, bro. I got this. Stop the hammering, exactly. Okay, Brian. How many people did we lose on this one? Wow. We went from about 716 to about 580. Lovely. Okay. Tomorrow, Illinois residents wake up in a different world. Their driver's license won't be in their wallet anymore. It'll be in their phone, connected to systems that they don't control. Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias calls it progress. I call it digital handcuffs. And once you see what's really happening, you'll understand why Illinois was chosen as ground zero. So don't look away, because this is the beginning of the end of anonymous existence. Starting tomorrow, Illinois becomes the first state to fully launch digital IDs in Apple Wallet. But this isn't about convenience of the DMV. This connects directly to the global digital ID agenda that people like Eva Villanderbroek and Michael Schellenberger have been warning about. Your identity, your payments, your travel, your age verification, all in one device, all tracked, all monitored, and all controlled. They're telling you it's secure and private, but the architecture tells a very different story. Over 250 airports already integrated, TSA partnering, retailers, stadiums, bars all plugging in. They're building an ecosystem where you can't buy, sell, travel, or exist without their permission. And the kicker, Giannoulias admitted that law enforcement will eventually use this system, not if, when. And as we wrap up 2025, it is a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical. It's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. Call the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Ask how you can get the 10-ounce 1 silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. So what happened here? Bill Gates. Bill Gates is back. One of the driving forces behind the digital ID.
You know, every country struggling to find that boundary. The U.S. is a tough one because, you know, we have the notion of the First Amendment.
The notion. We have the notion. He calls the First Amendment a notion.
And so what are the exceptions, you know, like yelling fire in a theater, you know, and because you're anonymous online, you know, it can be worse. I do think over time, you know, with things like deep fakes, most of the time you're online, you're going to want to be in an environment where the people are truly identified. That is, they're connected to a real world identity that you trust instead of just people saying whatever they want. And so the idea of provenance, who sent me this email, was that really them? You know, we're going to have systems and behaviors that we're more aware of. Okay, who says that? Who created this?
Who created this digital ID? Yeah, this is what it's going to look like, folks.
You have entry denied. You have criticized the government.
Sorry, last week you purchased too much meat and now your access to your money has been denied.
You haven't let the government know about this trip and your access is denied.
You have gone over your carbon credit allowance of food this week and your access to food has been denied. A day in the life of UK school children 2035 with digital ID. You have gone over your electricity allowance this week and your access is denied.
That's the world that we're facing. Remember, we reported on this. World Economic Forum confirms the path to force traceability of online presence to digital ID.
without a license to anonymity on social media. In our countries, no one can walk the streets with a mask on their face or drive a car without a license plate. No one can send packages without showing an ID or buy a hunting weapon without giving their name. And yet, we are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. This paving the way for misinformation, hate speech, and cyber harassment, because it is facilitating the use of bots and it is allowing people to act without being held accountable for their actions. Such an anomaly cannot continue. In a democracy, citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity, because with those two, social coexistence would be impossible. That is why I believe we must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media, and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
European digital identity wallet. So check this out, October 27th. It was an honor to join President Alar Karas tonight and learn about Estonia's approach to modern digital and secure government. Modern digital and secure government. The Secretary of State of Illinois hanging out with Estonia, talking about digital. Why are you hanging out with the Europeans? I just showed you. Here we have World Economic Forum, Australia talking about it. Bill Gates talking about it. So the Secretary of State says, oh, we're going to talk about secure and digital government. Oh, we're just glad handing with the globalists here. Right? Nothing to see here, folks. That was October 27th. October 29th. Alexa Jean Julius. Great to spend some time with my friend Justin Trudeau at the Chicago Council dinner. Congrats to fellow honorees, blah, 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 blah. Oh, nothing to see here. Just hanging out with one of the biggest globalists there is. Oh, but what is that? What is that? The Chicago Council on Global Affairs. That is a branch of the Council on Foreign Relations. Global affairs. Yep. That's what they are plotting. State of Illinois, Secretary of State, hanging out with the globalists at a globalist arm of the Council on Foreign Relations. 10 hours ago, which brings us to now. 10 hours ago, he posted this. Together, we're proving that Illinois can lead and lead boldly into a safer, smarter, more connected future at the Illinois Mobile ID launch. 4 hours ago, hey, Illinois, starting tomorrow, you can add your Illinois driver's license or state ID to your Apple Wallet.
Go to www.ilsos.gov. Hey, Illinois, we're so excited. Starting tomorrow, you can get your driver's license or state ID added to your Apple Wallet. So sign up today to get notified. Go to...
Yeah, sign up today. Here's another one. Starting tomorrow, Illinoisans will be able to add their driver's license or state ID. That was 8 hours ago. October 21st, digital Dutch political commentator draws attention to the World Economic Forum plan to use the climate crisis as an excuse to roll out personal carbon allowances connected to a digital ID.
One of the largest, the digital identity is not just a passport that you will have on your iPhone in a digital form. It entails just about everything the government would like to know about you. And yesterday in the Dutch media, we saw a perfect example of what it could entail in the near future. We had the CEO of one of the largest Dutch banks say, why don't we start with a personal carbon credit?
Oh.
A carbon wallet, she called it, actually. Yeah. So right in line with the plans that the World Economic Forum people have for us. And she said it in a way that was particularly funny. She said, well, if everyone gets an individual personal carbon credit, why don't we make it so that rich people who, for example, want to go on holiday a little too often can buy personal carbon credit from other people who, for example, can't afford buying plane tickets or eating meat too often. So we can that way swap it out.
Oh, so if
all
Bill...
connected to your digital ID footprint. That's what they want in Europe, Australia, and now it is unfolding in the state of Illinois. 4 days ago, another conspiracy theory came true. Digital ID is here. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger uncovered exactly what the global elites are building. It matches everything the World Economic Forum, the UN, the EU, and the UK have been quietly planning. Governments pitching digital ID as a solution to illegal immigration, ID fraud, streamlined healthcare. Schellenberger warns the real danger is digital totalitarianism. China already uses a digital ID, social credit score, to control speech, movement, banking, and behavior. And the West is following the same script. First, it's voluntary, right? Oh, just go to the Apple store and load it up on your phone, and don't you worry about a thing. Right? And then they shut it off. You don't comply. Oh, yeah. This is the beginning. First, it's voluntary. Then it becomes mandatory. First, there are rewards, then come punishment. He also exposed the single biggest threat the public isn't being told. A centralized ID system creates a massive cybersecurity kill switch. If it gets hacked, they can access your bank, medical records, identity, entire life, all in one breach. This is not convenience. It's a digital cage, and they're building it fast. This was published just 4 days ago by Jim Ferguson. And now this happening in Illinois.
Britain. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger has been digging into the digital ID issue. He just released a lengthy piece on this on his Substack called Public. He joins us now with his thoughts. Michael, look, the argument is it's like it'll help thwart illegal immigration, ID fraud, streamline healthcare services. Sounds fantastic. What the heck's the problem?
Right. Hey, great to be with you, Laura. Yeah, I mean, another conspiracy theory that has started coming true. I mean, we saw this announcement in September. It took everybody by surprise. The World Economic Forum had been pushing digital IDs, the United Nations, the European Union, Britain. Of course, the really terrifying example is China, which uses digital IDs and a social credit score to control speech and to control what people think and say online. I mean, it could come in a lot of different ways. They'll start voluntary, then they'll make it mandatory. They'll have rewards, and then they'll have punishments. It's quite terrifying. And when you just listen to what the advocates for digital IDs say, it's terrifying. And, you know, Laura, one thing I learned from this last round of investigations is that this is a huge cybersecurity threat. The idea that, I mean, imagine if you get hacked in one of the many websites that you log into. Imagine everything suddenly being hacked because it's all centralized in a single place. That cybersecurity threat alone ought to be enough to kill the digital ID. But again, this is potentially digital totalitarianism.
Oh, but it's all convenience, right? Hey, just tomorrow, you can do it. Look at how excited he is, man.
ILS. Hey, Illinois, we're so excited. Starting tomorrow, you can get your driver's license or state.
We're so excited to lock you in your digital prison. Oh, here he is.
About to walk on stage here.
Yeah, you should have actually started the edit right before that point, buddy. Like, it's how staged is this? He's standing there. Okay, all right, we're rolling. All right, go. Like, you see, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to start outside the door and start walking, and then you tell him that you do the edit when you hit the first step when you start talking. Because these fools don't even know how to make proper social media video.
About to walk on stage here for an incredible...
No, you were staged on a freaking step. Dude, sorry, this just annoys the hell out of me.
About to walk on stage here for an incredibly exciting day. We promised the people of Illinois that we would bring mobile IDs to Illinois. That's what we're doing here today. We're announcing that starting tomorrow, you can add your ID to your Apple Wallet. I'm so excited about this announcement. I'm so excited about the path ahead. And this is exactly what we promised Illinoisans. Modernization, innovation, creating efficiencies, and doing everything we can to eliminate the time tax. I'm so fired up.
The time tax, huh? Really, the time tax? How about the real taxes? How about we start with that? The rollout's happening. Oh, and if you ever wanted a more concise breakdown of why this is all so dangerous, look no further than RFK Jr.
What we're seeing today is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide. Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates. It will make you a slave. And what do we do about this? What do? We resist. I'm going to tell you 3 rules that you all need to know and memorize. Number 1, every power that government takes from us, it will never relinquish voluntarily. Number 2, every power they take from us, they will ultimately abuse to the maximum extent possible. Number 3, nobody in history of the planet has ever complied their way out of totalitarian control. Every capitulation is a signal to the oppressors to impose new forms of torment or torture or compliance or obedience. Every time you comply, you get weaker. Bullies cannot be appeased. It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment. Every time you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today.
God bless RFK Jr. So here's what they're not telling you. See, the system's designed to expand. First it's optional, then it's convenient, then it's mandatory. Right now, you still need a physical license, but Giannoulias has confirmed the goal, complete digital transition. No offline option. It gets darker, though, because you saw this plugs directly into what Dutch banks are planning with personal carbon allowances. Every purchase tracked, every mile driven recorded, every transaction tied to your social credit score. Jim Ferguson called it another conspiracy theory becoming reality. RFK Jr. warning us, digital ID plus central bank, digital currency equal total control. Now, the smoking gun came during the press conference when asked about law enforcement access. Giannoulias said they won't use it for the foreseeable future, while openly predicting they will in a few years. He's literally telling you the surveillance state is coming. He's just asking you to trust him on the timeline. This is a very slippery, it's not a slippery slope, it's a cliff. So Illinois didn't become ground zero by accident. It's the perfect testing ground, corrupt enough to push it through, blue enough to silence opposition, big enough to matter. Today it's your driver's license, tomorrow it's your medical records, your voting history, your carbon footprint. They're building a digital prison, one app update at a time. And they're counting on you to be too distracted by the convenience to notice the cage. The World Economic Forum's dream of tying your identity to your ability to participate in society isn't coming. It's here. It's starting tomorrow in Illinois. So the question is, will you accept digital slavery for faster beer lines at Soldier Field? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments. If you value freedom over convenience, support independent media at our merch shop. We're one of the last voices they can't digitally silence yet. All right. RC dropping 5. DNA test will prove Hillary Clinton is German. Little mustache man's granddaughter. Her family came through Operation Paperclip. She runs America. Oh, is that right? Didn't know that. She does look kind of German, though. Anita Sanderlin dropping $10. Appreciate your show. Keeping us informed. There's over 500 people watching who need to hit the like button. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button. And give that algorithm a little tickle. Would you just tickle the algorithm? All right. Going to go into some positive news right now. Good big things happening for your wallet, not the digital one. Oh, yes. All right. Well, Democrats obsess over pronouns. Trump just weaponized AI, Saudi billions, and McDonald's into an economic revolution. He's not just bringing back jobs, he's building a parallel economy that cuts out the woke middlemen. The establishment's freaking out because they can't stop it. Now, this is bigger than politics. It's economic war. You see, Trump dropped 3 economic bombs in rapid succession. First, he's demanding one federal AI standard that protects kids while preventing censorship, killing the blue state's plan to embed DEI ideology into AI models. Remember the Black George Washington? Yes, that's what happens when woke programmers program your future. And then what was the other one? Second, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman announced investment in America exploding from $600 billion to nearly $1 trillion. Not in ESG fantasies, in real factories, real steel, real jobs. And third, Trump stood before McDonald's franchisees as the first fry cook president, announcing the largest tax cuts in history with no tax on tips or overtime, while elites sneer. He's building a coalition of workers, manufacturers, and entrepreneurs that transcend party lines. Even former Democrats like Tim Pool are calling Trump a godsend for the working class. And speaking of industrial might, the Trump administration is backing it with action. Their latest executive order 14241 identifies Alaska's Palmer Project as vital for national security. This is not bureaucratic paperwork. It's about securing the copper, the zinc, and the silver that our military and energy grid desperately need. Now, Vizsla Copper, they saw the opportunity, acquired Palmer, and this put them in the center of America's push for mineral independence. With an estimated $3.5 billion in-ground value, and the team that built Vizsla Silver into $1 billion company, they are positioned for explosive growth. Other Alaskan miners with government backing saw 200% gains. Now, Vizsla trades as VCUFF in the U.S. Definitely worth investigating at the link down below. Now, the McDonald's summit revealed the real Trump economic doctrine. He reminded franchisees how Obama's joint employer rule nearly destroyed their independence, treating them like corporate slaves instead of small business owners, and they erupted. Trump killed it. Now he's promising they'll never see it again, but here's the kicker. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today than when he took office. Hourly wages are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years. Now, this is not trickle-down theory. This is bottom-up reality. When ABC News tried to ambush him, Trump destroyed them on live TV, calling them fake news to their face. Here it is. You see this? Still a lot of work to do. We're making tremendous progress.
Unless they come in legal. There's still a lot of work to do, and we're making tremendous progress. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today than when I took office. Think of that. 1.9 million more today than and these are American-born workers. Nobody thought that was possible. And we have the strongest borders in the history of our country. Nobody comes in unless they come in legally. You see the numbers. Everyone thinks it's impossible. A year ago, millions of people were storming our borders. Today, they only come in if they come in legally. And wages for hourly workers are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years. But there's still a lot of work to do.
I don't know, man. He's making me kind of hungry. You know, you got to love the McDonald's French fries, though, right? You got to love those. Here. President Trump tells him this.
Really the heart and soul. I'm thrilled to be here with the men and the women who are really the heart and soul of one of the greatest, most admired, and most successful companies in the history of the world, frankly. The one and only McDonald's. I've gone there a couple of times. And I'm honored to stand before you as the very first former McDonald's fry cook ever to become president of the United States. And I actually was there for about 30 minutes, and that was 30 minutes longer than Kamala was there, right? Despite her job at McDonald's. That didn't work out too well. And the person at McDonald's that informed us off the record that she never worked there, whoever you are, we appreciate that. That was very nice. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, Kamala tried to paint herself like she worked at McDonald's, but Trump actually went to McDonald's. Oh, that was a hilarious moment. Okay. This is good.
As you may have heard, I'm also one of your all-time most loyal customers. I really am. Well, I think that's good. I'm pretty sure that's good. While other politicians fly around on campaign planes stocked with expensive catering, on Trump Force One, prior to ascending to Air Force One, which is quite a nice plane also, we served only McDonald's almost every time. On occasion, we couldn't find one, which is pretty hard to believe. We'd go another route, but we really did. You fed us very well, and I even got Bobby Kennedy to eat a Big Mac. And he told me he loved it.
He loved the Big Mac. Check this out. Here's more.
Of an amazing 1 in 8 Americans works behind the counter of a McDonald's franchise at some point in their lives. Yeah, we heard about that. I heard about that. Wasn't true in that particular case, but for tens of millions of our citizens, the road to the American dream starts beneath the golden arches, beautiful golden arches. So to each and every one of you, thank you and congratulations on 70 years of American greatness. Congratulations.
No, I'm getting hungry, man, for real. Like, I don't know. I would love to have some French fries right now. Okay, where is the clip? Oh, this is the joint up. This is funny.
Stopped a mortal threat. As you know, in my first time, I also stopped a mortal threat to the franchise business model by terminating Obama's infamous joint employer rule. Joint employer. In other words, you were screwed. You would have been mortally wounded, perhaps. I said to a couple of the people, what would have happened if that? Sir, please, I'd rather not talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. I ended it. You got lucky on that one, let me tell you, because I said, really, I asked one of my guys, because when I was coming over, I saw that in the speech. I said, what does that mean? He said, that would have been death to businesses like yours and others. It was just, these people don't care. They didn't care. But I ended it, and I think that's one of the biggest things that you'll ever have done for yourselves. I think that's the biggest thing that can ever be done for you. We mentioned all these different items, but that's the biggest by far for you.
They loved him there. Now, President Trump opening new avenues of cooperation between U.S. and Saudi Arabia, unprecedented.
That it will invest this opening up of the new avenues of cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia is really unprecedented. And on that trip, Saudi Arabia announced that it will invest an incredible $600 billion. That means jobs. That means jobs. It's also good for your companies, but I'm only interested in the jobs for your country. I'm not interested in the profits, but I guess the profits are there too. But $600 billion in the United States. And today I said, any way you can up that? And he said, I am going to up that to $1 trillion. So he's investing $1 trillion into the United States.
$1 trillion invested. Senator Tim Scott, the president, is committed to make sure every single opportunity is on the table.
The president is committed to making sure that every single opportunity is on the table. But let's not forget the working families tax cuts. All the big benefits kick in this year coming. In January, we'll start seeing the benefits of no tax on tips. When you do your taxes, you'll have more take-home pay. No tax on overtime, more take-home pay. No tax on Social Security, more take-home pay. So many of the benefits in that working class tax cuts, they don't kick in until next year. And thank God we're less than 60 days away from the beginning of a brand new year. 2026 will be the year of affordability.
2026, man, I can't believe it's around the corner. America is entering a new era of prosperity thanks to President Trump forging deals with Switzerland and Korea, Latin America to remove trade barriers, attract new investment, unlock markets for U.S. exports. Look at the headlines. Newsmax. White House trade deals with 4 nations, boost farm industry. The Wrap. MPA applauds U.S.-Korea deal for resolving unfair trade practices impacting Hollywood. Barron's. U.S. announces new trade deals with Argentina, Guatemala, Ecuador, and El Salvador. Trump secures new trade deal frameworks for Europe and Latin America. I mean, just look at that list. Did you see headlines like this when Biden was in office at all? That guy was asleep at the wheel. AutoPen was running everything. 5 hours ago, Trump posted this through social. Investment in AI is helping to make the U.S. economy the hottest in the world. But overregulation by states is threatening to undermine the growth engine. Some states even trying to embed DEI ideology in AI models, producing woke AI. Remember Black George Washington. We must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. We can do this in a way that protects children and prevents censorship. David Bromwell, manufacturing technology manager at energy equipment manufacturer GE Verona, discusses what the Saudi investment in the U.S. means for American jobs. $1 trillion, folks.
And I have a man, David Bromell. Yes, sir. David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made, please?
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Vernova, and if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs. Right. So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
And I have a man,
David. Absolutely
David.
Amazing. Dude, we are entering an era of prosperity we don't even know yet. Tim Pool was on Jesse Waters. He writes, former Democrat Tim Pool says Trump's been a godsend for U.S. manufacturing.
Owner, it's sad for me because in 2020, I actually was a very big supporter of the Democratic Party. I donated the maximum to Tulsi Gabbard. She's now a Republican alongside Trump. I hear Trump talking about tariffs. I understand this. I am a business owner. I own a skateboard company. We make all of our products in America, and I know what it means for an industry to outsource those jobs. And I agree with these tariffs because it's been a godsend for the manufacturing in this country, real Americans to get work, to benefit our culture. And when I look at Democrats, what are they talking about? They've got Mamdani talking about free buses and faster buses. He has no authority to do that. Chuck Schumer is infighting with Democrats, but the socialists are likely going to take over that party. I don't recognize them anymore. And it's strange to me that after all of my years, I'm going to be 40 in a few months, the Republicans are the party of the working class and of the manufacturing jobs. I wish we had real political competition in this country, but we just don't.
All right, so it looks like the Republican Party may be competing against the socialists. It looks like Chuck's on his last legs. And like Gavin Newsom, of all people, is like the one semi-normal Democrat that's like keeping everything at bay. I mean, is this what we're facing?
I'm pretty confident going into these midterms now. The past couple of weeks are a little worrying with the infighting on the right with some of these foreign policy issues. But, today it seems like Trump is back on message. The infighting is sort of dying down. And when it comes to what the Republicans have to offer, we have wasted a little time on the old Epstein debacle, but maybe that's just political strategy. I got to be honest, I look at the Democrats, and with the future of the party being AOC and Mamdani, they don't have anything tangible to offer. In fact, I'm seeing reporting now that Staten Island wants to secede from New York City because Mamdani does not have the confidence of even his own city. So I can look at Trump and I can understand tariffs. I can understand these tax policies, these dividends. They make sense. I don't see.
They make sense. And it looks like those checks are going to be showing up next year, and we are just around the corner. Here is the moment that the Saudi Crown Prince made the big announcement.
By detail, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and
I like that very much.
Go ahead. You worked hard.
That's great.
That's great indeed, man. Here we have President Trump nuking fake news. Another fake news moment in the Oval.
Murder of a journalist. Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family?
So the death blow to the establishment narrative came from GE Verona, their Greenville facility. Tripling output because of Saudi investment, real factories, real machines, real American workers. While Democrats push climate fantasies, Trump is delivering a manufacturing renaissance funded by foreign capital, but built by American hands. The party of faculty lounges just lost the working class forever. And in one day, Trump claimed AI from the woke mob, locked in $1 trillion in foreign investment, and cemented his bond with every fry cook and factory worker in America. He's not playing their game anymore. He's building his own economy. No DEI algorithms, no ESG scores, no elite gatekeepers, just American workers getting paid. The establishment can't compete because they don't understand it. They're still pushing regulation while Trump's pushing paychecks. They're programming AI to lie while he's programming factories to produce. They're lecturing about pronouns while he's eliminating taxes on overtime. Here's a question. We can talk about it. Do you believe the future belongs to the people who work or the people who lecture? Yes or no? Let me know below. And you can support the movement. Grab your gear at a merch shop. Every purchase funds more truth they don't want told. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Oh, but yes, we must move into this. This is crazy. What is happening? What they just announced. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay, let's get to our next topic here. Oh, we had a super chat from Chris Orr. Beautiful wear of Satan. $10. Thank you. Where are we at now? We're at 44.51. Awesome. Okay. This is a big deal, folks. 6 sitting Democrats didn't just cross the line, they filmed themselves doing it. In a coordinated video, they're telling our military to defy the President of the United States. This is not a leak. This is not a hot mic. This is a produced, scripted, filmed call for insurrection. And they released it themselves. What you're about to see changes everything. Because when elected officials directly address the military and intelligence community, telling them to stand up against their commander-in-chief, we have entered unprecedented territory. Senators Elisa Slotkin and Mark Kelly, along with 4 other Democrats, produced the video, knowing exactly what they were doing. They wrote it, rehearsed it, filmed it, distributed it. The messages were unmistakable. Defy President Trump's orders. Stephen Miller called it insurrection. Sidney Powell screams sedition. And they're both right. Because there's a word for when politicians tell the military to choose sides against civilian leadership. It's called a coup. And the most terrifying part? They felt comfortable enough to film it. You see, they're not hiding anymore. They're so desperate, so convinced that they're losing control, they're openly calling for military rebellion against constitutional authority. And as we wrap up 2025, it is a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in right now. Waiting for things to go back to normal is not a plan, it's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments, they've helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Now, look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take a smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com today. You'll find it linked below, or call that number, 877-646-5347, and ask about getting the 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. Now, the reaction has exposed just how serious this is. Conservative voices are calling for arrests. People are pointing out that January 6 protesters got decades in prison for far worse. Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in Washington. He got 22 years. But sitting senators can film insurrection instructions and walk free? The double standard is screaming. Even more revealing, liberals are defending it. They're calling it speaking truth to power while encouraging others to join. The mask is not just off, it's been thrown in the fire. They're admitting they want military defiance of civil control. And that's not democracy. That's the end of democracy. Remember they said that Trump was going to end democracy? Well, now they're calling for it. Here it is.
Alyssa Slotkin. I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army, or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution, and who we are as Americans. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, the outrage from that. I mean, where do we begin? Here's one. They are out of control. Oh, that's putting it very lightly. Stephen Miller accusing congressional Democrats of demanding insurrection after they asked members of the armed forces and intelligence community to rise up against Donald Trump. Miller, he says, Democrat lawmakers are now openly calling for insurrection. Pete Hegseth calls it stage 4 TDS. Labrador skeptic. We're officially in surreal times as the Dems take a big step towards insurrection and open civil war. Encouraging the military and intelligence community to defy presidential orders is happening at the same time Democrat governors and mayors are refusing to obey federal laws and effectively encouraging assaults on federal law enforcement. Oh, there's more. Stephen Miller posted it. Let's see if I can find it. It's stunning. Here's one. Stunning. Insurrection, or more like flat out treason. Fox Pro MAGA outrageous. 6 congressional Democrats call for a soft coup, demand members of the military commit treason and defy orders from President Trump. One could consider this move treasonous. Here's a reply to Representative Houlihan. Ms. Houlihan, I saw your video encouraging members of the military to purposely defy orders from the commander-in-chief. You encouraging a soft coup against the president of the United States, you no longer are fit for office. Someone replying to Libs of TikTok's post, they sure want to encourage other people to get their hands dirty and start a soft coup while their treasonous hands stay clean, all because they lost at the ballot box. Sidney Powell, 7 hours ago. Can you say sedition and insurrection act? Raw egg nationalists. Everyone in this video should be arrested for inciting insurrection. People who weren't even in Washington on January 6th, like Enrique Tarrio, were sent to prison for supposedly doing so. These politicians aren't just calling for a military coup, they're trying to organize one. Stephen Miller, accusing members of Congress. C.J. Pearson, Democrat members of Congress, including Senators Alyssa Slotkin and Mark Kelly, just released a video encouraging members of the military to defy orders. The party of no kings is now encouraging a military coup. Here's the reply. This is the official quote tweet from Stephen Miller 7 hours ago. Democrat lawmakers openly calling for insurrection. Everyone's talking about it. Let's see. We've got... why does that keep bouncing back? That's really strange. I've never seen it do that. That's really weird. Here's one of those congresswomen interrupting Speaker Johnson's press conference back on November 5th, calling out how he's handled his speakership in relationship with Trump. Police moved towards her to remove her, as they would do with a protester, but she pulled out her member pin to ID herself. So she just looked like a random protester trying to interrupt Speaker Johnson. And she's like, oh, but I'm a congressman.
I'm asking you a question if you're ready to have a conversation with the other side. You represent all of us. You are the speaker for all of us, sir. You have an obligation not just to speak lies to the American people. You have an obligation to call the leadership of both parties and bring us together and solve this problem together.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it. I've been doing that. We did that before the shutdown began.
I don't know.
We went to the White House. We went and sat in front of the Resolute desk.
You're welcome.
We brought Leader Jeffries and Leader Schumer in, and we had a discussion. The president said, please.
Is that really how you address the speaker? You heckle him? You heckle him at a press conference?
What you're doing is dividing us even, and that we work together as both parties for the American people. And right now, all you're doing is dividing us even further. I appreciate you too.
Mr. Speaker, last night President Trump said that in part the election lost.
Yeah, and she had her camera ready for that. Maggie Goodlander, donor ruthlessly crushing the American dream and inflating rental prices. You will own nothing. Blackstone. Congressman Chris Delusional, even though Republican Speaker Mike Johnson isn't having votes, so I'm showing up all ready to work. Yeah, these are the people who are calling for insurrection. Senator Elisa Slotkin.
The administration, that if the Trump administration wants to be at war against a terrorist organization, they should come to Congress, notify us, and seek our approval.
Well, they're already using the law that was implemented after 9/11, honey. That's why they don't have to go back to you, because the law is already there.
Currently, the administration is waging a secret war against a secret list of unnamed groups that they will not tell us about.
I think it's Nicaragua and MS-13. They've told you. A secret war? No, it's not secret. They're declassifying every gunboat video.
4 lethal strikes against boats in the Caribbean. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
nice try, Alicia. No Spin News. A stupid soundbite from Jason Crow of Colorado.
His family, right? They are using the...
Now, I'm just going to play you one stupid soundbite from Congressman Jason Crow, Colorado. Okay? Mr. Crow should not be sitting on Capitol Hill. He's not smart enough to be there. Roll the tape.
Well, part of the problem with the tariffs is that Donald Trump is largely using tariffs. I'm glad you raised that, because he's actually largely using tariffs to enrich himself and his family, right? They are using the threat of tariffs to strike golf course deals around the world.
That's not true. There's not a shred of evidence of that. So the man goes on CNN or MSNBC, they're both the same, and lies. And the people in Colorado don't care. But there's no evidence that the tariffs are benefiting your...
Yeah, you see, these are the people spreading lies, misinformation. Now they're calling for insurrection. Open insurrection against President Trump. Sedition. This is horrible. But the most chilling part, they released the video thinking that they're the good guys. They genuinely believe undermining constitutional order is patriotic. When political leaders film themselves calling for military insubordination and feel righteous about it, the republic is in mortal danger. This is not resistance, it's sedition with a production budget. So 6 Democrats just filmed evidence of their own sedition and published it proudly. They looked into the camera, they told the military to defy the president, not protest, not resist politically, to defy him. That's not opposition. That's insurrection, and they did it openly, proudly, with multiple takes and good lighting. If Republicans filmed a video telling the military to ignore Biden, they'd be in handcuffs before sunset. But Democrats, they're fundraising off it. This is the 2-tier justice system in HD. They jail grandmothers walking through the Capitol, but give senators a pass for filming coup instructions. So should these 6 Democrats be charged with sedition for filming military insurrection instructions? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. And while they plot against our republic, you can support real journalism at our merch shop, because somebody needs to document their treason. All right, what do you guys think about that, man? That's wild, right? My Constitution, my flag, come and get it, says Heather. Of course they're calling for insurrection. They know nobody will punish them for it. They get away with everything. I know, it's pretty frustrating, is it, Raji? Yeah, pipe bombs, we're still waiting to figure out what's going on there. Maybe we'll have a breakthrough on Thursday. I'm working on something. Uriel says, as a veteran myself, I agree. This is treason. Wow. So, there you have it. November 18th, 2025. The day the establishment's mask didn't just slip, it got ripped clean off and set on fire. The Epstein vote passed after years of cover-ups, after decades of blackmail, after countless victims were silenced. The House finally said enough. They voted to expose the predator network that's been controlling our government. And that person who said no, they're protecting somebody or themselves. And think about what happens next. It's going to go to the Senate. Is it going to die there? But then you had Stacey Plaskett literally texting a convicted predator during congressional hearings. They called it constituent services. These aren't just corrupt people. They're captured. And the Vatican's at war with itself over America's border. Pope Leo defending national sovereignty while his own bishops work with NGOs to flood our nation with dependents. Tom Homan exposing their hypocrisy perfectly. The church, the lectures us about walls, has the highest walls in Rome. Meanwhile, we've got 194 illegal aliens driving 18-wheelers on our highways thanks to criminal CDL mills. When protecting America became anti-Christian, you know the infiltration's complete. In Illinois, just enslaved its citizens with digital chains, and they're applauding. Starting tomorrow, your driver's license lives in your phone, connected to systems that track everything, your purchases, movements, associations, all flowing through devices you don't control. Secretary Giannoulias literally admitted law enforcement will use it, just not right away. They're building your digital prison in broad daylight, and you're paying for the privilege. And then Trump turning AI, Saudi money, and McDonald's into a populist wrecking ball aimed straight at the establishment. While they're trying to program AI to be woke, he's demanding free speech protection. While they're pushing ESG fantasies, he's bringing $1 trillion to American factories. While they're sneering at working people, he's eliminating taxes on their tips and overtime. The first fry cook president just built a coalition the elites can't buy and control. And they can't even understand. And then 6 Democrats filmed themselves committing sedition. They produced, scripted, and distributed a video telling our military to defy President Trump, their commander-in-chief. You see, it's not a protest. That's a coup attempt with the production budget. Stephen Miller calling it insurrection. Sidney Powell calling it sedition. I call it treason. I did it on camera, thinking history would thank them. So this isn't 5 separate stories. This is one story with 5 chapters. The establishment's cornered, exposed, and desperate. And they're pulling every single lever, calling on every favor, activating every asset, but it's too late because the people see it now. So to everybody who sends in Super Chats and Rumble Rants today, you guys are the backbone of independent media. Thank you for keeping us on the air when they want us silenced. Tell your friends about the show. Hit up our merch shop, because if today proved anything, it's that we're winning. They're panicking, and the truth is unstoppable. This is Gary Franchi. You've been watching the Raw Feed, so stay free, stay strong, and we'll see you next time.
and we are wild.